Hi, hello, and welcome in our video. This short video will focus on just one topic, and that's gap analysis. So what is gap analysis? Maybe you remember when we were talking about traceability, we mentioned that every requirement within the systems needs to serve a defined purpose and has a goal and a justification for its existence, and that artifacts or requirements need to tie to some initial business need and also should be tied to some lower level requirements or deliverables. So, in another words, as we are in systems requirement specification, to prove that all of those systems requirements are tied to some initial business needs and have justification for their existence, it means that they need to have links, in our case, to stakeholder requirements. And at the same time, those system requirements should be linked to some lower level requirements, so to some subsystems requirements. So for me, the easiest gap analysis would be, for example, the first one, show me all requirements that don't have justification for existence. All right, let's create this simple gap analysis right now. And in fact, it's just a filter. So as step number one, I will add satisfies column here, just so we see all artifacts right now and all links. This is not gap analysis. To create gap analysis, you need to create filter. So click on filter icon, search for link type. And now let's assume that everyone is using satisfies link type to describe relationship with higher or lower level. So to describe a relationship to higher level, it satisfies, to lower level, it's satisfied by. So I will click on satisfies. But right now, if I would click on add, I will see just links that are good, so that they have justification for their existence because they are linked to those higher level requirements. But I would like to see links that don't have justification for their existence because they don't have this link. So I will choose not exists, but does not exist. Add and close. And right now, those are all requirements that don't have link to higher level requirements. All right, but just one more thing. We don't have only system requirements here. We have also information, headings, etc., etc. So let's assume that only systems requirements should have link to stakeholder requirements. So let's adjust this filter. I will click here, and you see right now, by default, artifact type is any. And I would like to change it because I would like to see only systems requirements. Okay, system requirements, update, apply. I will move it up and add artifact type column. And you see, those are all system requirements that don't have link to stakeholder requirements. That means don't have link to higher level requirement. So this is kind of gap analysis. You are searching for holes in your requirements lifecycle. All right, let's see those views that are pre-prepared in this template and are used for gap analysis. So I am interested in upstream and downstream traceability. And you see, this is just very simple view where on the left you have satisfies. So you see higher level links. And on the right, you have satisfied by. So you see link to lower level requirements. And you see those requirements don't have link upstream or downstream. So this is view that can be used to see if the system requirements is satisfying something and is satisfied by something. So very, very easy. On this super simple view, you can see if there is some missing link or if there is some missing relationship. So you see here, everything is missing. Here, just downstream requirements are not linked. And here, this is how it's supposed to look like. So it's linked to higher level and there is linked to lower level. Okay, so this is upstream and downstream traceability. But what about gold plating? Let's see how filter looks like. Okay, so you see link type does not exist satisfies. So it's showing us all artifacts that are not satisfying higher level requirements. So basically the same thing we already went through. So those artifacts don't have justification for its existence. And why it's called gold plating? Well, simple Google search will tell you that gold plating is the practice of making changes to a project that are outside of the original agreed upon scope. So if stakeholder requirements are agreed upon scope, then every requirement that is not connected to stakeholder requirement is outside of the scope. Why this exists? If it is not answering something from the stakeholder requirement, from the scope we agreed, from requirements we agreed. So you are making sure that you are developing something that is authorized and tied to corresponding business needs. All right, one last thing I would like to show you just very quickly is how you can use widgets for gap analysis. We have two very nice widgets that can be used for gap analysis. First is module link statistics, and the second is module attribute statistics. So, as I showed you, you can use filters to show you all artifacts that don't have some links. So if you are, for example, in stakeholder requirement specification, as we are right now, you can use this widget for gap analysis that show me all stakeholder requirements that don't have satisfied by links. So show me all stakeholder requirements that are not connected to some lower level requirements. And you see, you have very simple, very nice view. You see that 24 of stakeholder requirements are linked to some lower level requirement, and 38 of stakeholder requirements artifacts are not linked to any sublevel or any lower level requirement. So super easy, super useful widget that can be used to very quickly navigate and very quickly graphically show that right now we are just 38.7% done with linking lower level requirements to stakeholder requirements. At the end, every stakeholder requirement must be linked to some lower level requirement, because if not, then some feature, some functionality, some requirement is not answered by lower level requirements. But gap analysis don't always have to be about links. It can also be about artifact attributes. So we have module attribute statistics where you can choose your artifact type that you are interested in. I will choose system requirement because I jumped to system requirement specification. And then I would like to see its priorities. So you see that was super quick and super easy, and we have nice graphical representation of distribution of those priorities. So we see that 29 artifacts don't have associated priority value, that 8 artifacts are high priority, 4 artifacts are low priority, and 4 artifacts are medium priority. We can also use any other attribute. For example, I will choose need, create chart. And again, super quick, super easy, very nice graphical representation. We see that 20 artifacts don't have any value assigned, that 5 artifacts are desirable, 4 artifacts are luxury, 13 artifacts are mandatory, and 3 artifacts are very desirable. So those two widgets are super easy way for you to see very quickly what is the distribution of links or artifacts or artifact attributes that you are interested in. So this is it. This is gap analysis. You see, it's extremely simple. It's just about filters. But before you can create those filters, you need to set up traceability. You need to create links. You need to create relationships between artifacts. And once those relationships are in place, then you can create filters to check those relationships. Do all artifacts have relationship? Do all artifacts have right kind of relationship? Or is there something missing? And what we are missing? Show me all artifacts that are missing something specific. It's just about that. Simple filters, but you need to set up this traceability, those links, those link types that represent different kind of relationship. You need to set it up first. So it's really not rocket science. if you know about linking and traceability, and if you know about filters, then you also know how gap analysis can be done. Excellent. So I really hope this video was informative for you, and I hope to see you in our next videos.